to Larry Gary's channel.
All right, guys, here we go. Episode 7. Probably the best one yet. Hello, everybody in the chat. Thank you so much. We have our 2/3 of our regulars with us. Guy Forge filling in for the Butcher. What's up, man?
What's happening? Just listen. I'm just a guy hanging with the great ones. That's all. Just here for the show.
Matty Forge, premonition, or what do you want? I don't know, whatever you want to say, but what's going on?
I don't know.
Tonight?
I had a little week off last week. Happy to be back. There's a lot to talk about. Maybe we got some stuff right. I don't know. We'll find out.
We'll talk about it. And Jem, before we even get to you, you're going to be with us again next Friday for the auction. February 26th, Friday, right here, 7 p.m. Eastern. Jem will be with me. The Butcher will be with me. And it will be our February auction. So what's going on, Jem, all along?
First of all, I've been looking forward to this auction for like a month, and I can't believe it's finally here. Me and Fee got to actually organize because we want to be quick. Like whoever claimed it, boom, we already got it written down. We write the name down. But I'm gonna have a lot of stuff, man. I have like 10 or 12 like buy it now statues from like $100 to $200, like fun stuff people are gonna want to jump into.
That's a good price too for a buy it now. That's quick.
Yeah. And everything is under what you could buy it for anywhere else. It's gonna be the best price you can get. So it's gonna be fun. And then I'm gonna be auctioning, a lot of comic books, like mini series, maxi series, stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to it because I got to clear a lot of space up out of here.
Don't tease me with the statues, Jem.
Now they're gonna be like entry level pieces, like 115 shipped, 200 shipped the most. Like you'll see.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to it. We haven't really done statues in any of our auctions yet. I don't think we've done a couple toys.
I figure it'll just be a buy it now while we just run a set or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it'll move quick.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. So
anyway,
all right,
it's Jem all along, baby.
Let's go. Are you guys ready for episode 7?
Yeah, man.
What I usually say every episode is like, if you didn't like it before you watched us, you're gonna like it a little more, or even more. But I don't even think we need to talk about that. I think everybody had to have liked this episode. There was, and we were just talking about it, maybe as many questions answers as there were asked again. So there's still a lot out there we have to break down. Still out there, a lot of mystery behind it. But let's get right into it. First off, we have Wanda. Well, Wanda's waking up. The kids are waking her up. She's in her house. And you guys stop me when you want to interrupt me when you want so we can break things down. Yep. Kids are talking to Wanda. She's under the covers. She's got that fourth wall thing going, like The Office, like Modern Family. She wants to take a mental health day. The kids are up there bothering her. They go downstairs. They start playing video games, and they're complaining about their video games. And this is the first of a few times you see something is not right. The kids are trying to play video games, and the controllers are changing constantly. It's almost like Wanda's just out of it at this point.
I think because she made it bigger, the hex, that she might not be powerful enough at this point.
She's like struggling almost to keep everything together.
And is she the one that's really keeping it all together, or is there some other factors involved here?
Definitely, I agree with the other factors. And then this is right after you see that little scene, we roll into the director and Sword, and it's the only time we see him this episode is right in the very, very beginning. We see the director talking about, we're going to launch today.
Okay.
That's all we know. We have that was it. We launched today. Basically, they have everything ready. We launched it. We have no idea what it means. We have no idea if they're going in. We don't know. That's it. And in the whole I think it was exactly 30 minutes roughly this episode, we don't see him again. I think that's important because it's almost like next episode, are they going to attack the Hex? Like what's going to happen here?
Yeah.
And I guess, that whole the last 3 episodes are going to be an hour thing, right?
Allegedly? I don't know.
So there's 3 more left now, right? No, only 2 more left.
It's supposed to be 2, but maybe there is 3.
Allegedly. We don't know.
Well, I think that was debunked on them being hour-long episodes.
Yeah. Well, Garrett, when they're in the house in the beginning scene, I thought there was a couple interesting things. When Agnes comes in, or she knocks on the door.
No, that's later.
That's later.
That's later.
That's after the
That's
Hayward?
right after
Okay.
this part, because
All right,
the
go ahead,
next
go ahead.
part, because I thought the director part was interesting, because again, it's the only time we see him this episode, and he talks about we're going in. Then from there we go into Vision is in the circus, right? And we saw at the very end of last episode the hex expanded, and as all the sword agents were pulled in, they were turning into clowns and circus folk and whatnot. And Darcy was absorbed as well. We see her really, really quickly, and Vision tries to like talk to her, and of course she just kind of blows him off because her mind is a mess right now too.
Right.
Now we go back to the house, and this so we're only maybe 4 minutes into the episode at this point, and the kids are asking Wanda, "Where's Dad?" She doesn't seem to care either. She's like, "Hey, if he doesn't want to be here, he doesn't have to be
they're
here."
separated or something.
Yeah, it's almost like they're going through something. And they ask about Pietro. They ask about Quicksilver. Wanda says, and I wrote this down, "Don't listen to that man, and he's not your uncle."
Yeah.
And then it keeps going because the kids say, "Well, who is he?" And Wanda doesn't have an answer. And I don't think any of us have an answer yet either.
I do.
Okay, Jam, who is he?
I think it's more straightforward than everyone's theorizing. I think it's not to jump too forward into the episode, but I think it's Agatha manifested this person to be her brother to kind of get information from her or whatever. And it just happened to be a recast, like Darcy mentioned when he first showed up. And she said, "Oh, they recasted Quicksilver." I think the actor is just something that Marvel did as a goof to the fans. I don't think it means multiverse confirmed, Fox X-Men coming to the MCU confirmed. I think it's just that's something that Agatha planted to I don't mess with her or give her grief, as Quicksilver mentioned when she when they were talking to each other, and I think the last episode. So I just think it was her messing with Wanda with a version of her brother or a recast of her brother.
All right, now remind me later tonight, because I want to touch on that, because I have a different theory, but
Sure.
I want to talk about it at the end.
Okay.
So from there, right at that point, boom, here comes Agnes, right? Again. And she knew, right? Wanda even said, "Hi, Agnes."
She didn't even look, right?
She didn't even look.
Right on
She walked
cue.
in, and she helps, let me take the kids, guys. Let me take the kids, Wanda. Have a day. And no hesitation, Wanda's like, "Thank you. Take the kids."
Before that, just to ask a question. Before that is when they started the whole like Modern Family kind of hitch, right? And she's talking to the camera, breaking the fourth wall, which is funny because when she threw Rambeau out of the thing, she broke through 4 walls, which is really funny. Okay,
Yeah.
That's
Guy
Guy
Fawkes.
Fawkes coming.
but well, listen, you saw her break through 4 walls. It's just a matter of like putting the puzzle together. But it's really funny what the words that she used when the camera was talking to her. When she was explaining, she goes, "Just need a day, blah, 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 right? A quarantine to myself." She goes, "It's normal when you're expanding a false world we created." She didn't say I created. She said we.
She did say we.
But what's odd is that she doesn't seem to know anyone else created it with her in any other scene. It's almost implied that she created it and that she's aware of it, but she's just not trying to really think about it.
Well,
What's funny about that, though? We got to talk about this at the end, though. We have to come back to that, too, full circle. Because you're right. She's always almost confused, right? Wanda always seems confused, but then there's moments like, Guy, you just said, where it's almost like she's kind of aware, almost subconsciously, that it's not just her.
Right.
It's I tell you, it's a really good show. They're doing a really good job.
It's
Well,
really good job. I haven't been like invested in a show in a long time, and I'm invested in this. So
yeah,
I thought a cool part was, obviously later on in the episode, we find out the big reveal, but when Agnes, she comes in, she's wearing black and purple, which is a nod to Agatha Harkness in the comics. And then she also asks about a mole on her back, and I'm like, dude, like, how can you you're telling us you're a witch, basically?
I know,
So I like how it was coming in this episode. Yeah,
I like how she says, "Oh no, too personal," and then walking out with the kids, she's like, "Seriously, can you check it out?"
Boundaries, right? She says boundaries, which I think was purposeful as well. But
boundaries is an interesting term, right?
Yeah.
This was the funniest episode, I gotta say, too. Did she actually ever bite a kid in the comic books? Because that got me.
No.
I laughed at that point.
No,
that was a
thing, right? Like I'm not
that
a
was
big
a thing.
It had to be, right?
Yeah. Is that not like Hansel
I
and
love
Gretel?
it. She goes.
Maybe.
I actually did bite a kid once.
Yeah. All right. So Agnes leaves with the kids. Wanda's at home, and now more and more stuff in the house is changing eras. Basically, stuff we've already seen. 70s, you see 60s, you have the old school TV, everything starts messing around. The crane, right? Is this the point, or is it maybe later where the bird actually comes back?
And it does the same smoke thing too.
Yeah,
right?
the same red smoke. So everything is going wild. And she fixes it. Yeah, this happens another time later. So she fixes this time.
Yeah, she's trying.
Next time is when all hell really breaks loose.
Yeah.
So from that point on, we hop out to Monica and Agent Wu. And I thought this was really cool part, actually. They're going to meet, I don't know if they're going to meet the engineer or just what the engineer built. We will find out, but they're on their way there. And Wu was saying that Darcy was able to break that firewall. And now it's confirmed that they were bringing Vision back to use as a weapon.
Right. Confirmed. Yep.
And that was important. I feel like that was important.
That was.
So if she did steal his body parts, which it sounds like she did, she was pissed finding out what they were going to do with the Vision's body.
Right.
Because that was the last straw for her, it seems like.
Because at the end of Endgame, I was kind of reminded of this I was watching something. She was kind of at peace with what happens, right? She has that scene with Hawkeye, with Clint.
Yeah, they both are, right?
And they're kind of at peace. So I feel like it sent her over the edge when she found out that they were doing something with Vision's body, especially trying to make him a weapon.
Which is what Vision did not want.
Right.
So that...
Yeah, and they made it a point to say that.
Yeah. Okay, so they get to the tank, and we don't get that engineer reveal everyone was hoping for.
I was a little mad about that.
Richards, right?
And why did they think the tank was going to work?
They were pretty confident.
Because the front of it was shaped like a hexagon, maybe. I don't know.
It did change halfway into an old pickup, right?
That was funny.
That was cool.
So they meet. They meet the Sword team, and they make it also a point to say, like, hey, you still have friends on the inside who are good with you.
Loyal to my mom. Oh, not only your mom, right?
Yeah, not only to your mom, but to you as well.
So basically, it's almost setting up that she might be the director of Sword when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I know we've talked about this, and they've almost kind of put it away, like, and it's not going to happen. But I still say there's something going on with AIM with Sword.
Yeah, at some point that'll happen. Yeah,
I'm just going to keep hope until it happens.
Yeah.
She also, the major said, we are here again, using that word. You can't get away from. There's words that are there for a reason, right? Yep. So they're using this, and they're putting these stuff in there, so we listen to it. She said, "We're here with all the stuff, and we're ready." Like we. So again,
the engineer.
She didn't say I'm here. She said we are here. So
that engineer
might be there. He may be with the group in the back that you didn't see him.
Right.
It's possible.
I mean, when it had the Office theme song, I thought for sure we're getting John Krasinski as Reed Richards in this episode. I was ready for it.
You think Marvel is like, oh, damn, we should have done that.
Yeah,
right, because they don't necessarily know all the fan theories until it airs. This stuff was filmed already how long ago, so
yeah.
But I'm sure a lot of the stuff they knew, people would speculate, like the thing with Quicksilver. I always forget the actor's name, but they have. But they're probably like, "Wow, everyone thinks it's Mephisto."
So
yeah,
I can't wait to go back to that at the end.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah,
I want to talk about that, and I don't know if my theory is going to be right. I told Matt real quick, but we'll see.
Yep.
So we from that point, so they're not going into the hex yet. They just show the tank. We meet some of the Sword people, and now we flip back over to Vision back at the circus with Darcy, and Vision finally wakes up Darcy. I thought that was going to happen right away, but I guess he didn't know that they're not sure what's going on. That they're, he assumed it because he did wake some people up, but now he realizes, right, that none of these people know what's going on. He wakes up Darcy, and they hit it off because Darcy basically knows everything that's going on. and they escaped with an old school truck, and they're heading back to their house.
And they picked the worst getaway vehicle.
The worst, slowest.
Fucking hot dog truck.
Why didn't he just pick her up and fly?
That's what I said. Why did he just pick her up and fly away? I guess because the plot device for the episode, but geez,
I guess
the slowest moving vehicle of all time. Like,
let's take the funnel cake truck.
Yeah,
the slowest. All right, so from that point, they're in their getaway vehicle.
There's funnel cakes on there.
Were they?
Yeah, right? I mean, I can kind of see the point.
Truck.
that was
I mean,
great.
that's the truck I would
Vision
take.
doesn't eat food, so
It's true.
So now they're on their way back to Wanda's house, and now we flip back to Wanda's house. And this is when everything is going crazy now. Everything is aging. Everything is changing. She does not understand what's happening, and she can't fix it. And she even says that to the camera with the fourth wall thing during that little interview, the confessional, whatever you want to call it. It's like, I don't understand what's happening, and I can't fix it. And things are going wild. And then now, Maddie, take it over, because right now, this is the point where we go to that Nexus commercial, and you have a big breakdown of this.
Before that, the fifth wall breaks. She gets an answer back.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
true.
yeah. What was that? Right?
He gets an answer back, and she goes,
It's
"Well,
funny
don't you
because
think? You think maybe you deserve this?"
But whose
Yeah.
voice was that? Right?
The first time I heard it, I thought it was a guy, right?
Yeah.
It was.
The second time I watched it, you can almost hear Agatha in it. And then you see that scene with, I don't want to get ahead.
She's in
but
the director's chair.
right. So, yeah.
So,
Probably with her.
it says here, the director's voice who asked Wanda the question was Agatha's voice just slowed down a bit.
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah. That's
Makes
kind of
sense.
what you could hear. Like this, like I said, the second time around, you hear it. Yep.
So, all right, Maddie,
Yeah.
you did a big breakdown a couple weeks ago, and you're going to do it right now, right in the middle of our show here. The
Sure.
Nexus commercial. Explain in detail what is going on here.
Okay. So guys, like Gary said, we did a little breakdown a few weeks back that caused a little bit of stir, I think, in a couple books.
A little bit.
Maybe one of them, the one that nobody really paid attention to, actually came true here, but we'll talk about that later. So
Hold on, Matt. We got a super
Yeah,
chat
yeah.
real quick. Travis, loved the answer back. Thank you guys for breaking it all down every week. Travis, thank you for even being here and hanging with us. Appreciate that $5 super chat. All right,
thanks,
Maddie, hit him up.
Travis is a good dude. All right, so this is more kind of like plot points, but I think there's some connecting dots here, and I think it's important. So I'm going to give some credit at the end, but I want to get through the whole thing. So the Nexus, you see the commercial for the Nexus, you say, what is the Nexus? In Marvel, there's a couple things they refer to as Nexus. They have Nexus points, which in comics, Wanda is the Nexus point for the reality 616. And the Nexus point is basically the being, it's almost like the most powerful being in that reality that connects the other realities, the other verses to each other. And so there's only one version of that being. So there's no other version of Wanda technically in the whole multiverse. Okay. And Wanda is that Nexus point. There is also something called the Nexus of all realities, which is basically like a convergence point. Okay. So what we find out that Wanda is a Nexus point in West Coast Avengers number 61. I think we got a picture for that, right, Gar?
We do. Right here.
Okay. So when I first saw this, I said, this isn't really a spec to me. You know, like, okay, so what? We find out she's a Nexus point here. Like, yeah, okay, great. But then I read the issue. And the issue has a lot of connection. Right, that's the panel that we find out. And in the top left-hand corner, you see Agatha. Okay. Yeah. And Agatha, I don't know if you read it, but she is speaking to Immortus. It says, what are you holding back from me, Immortus? Okay. Those of you who don't know, Immortus is Kang, is, Iron Lad, is Ramatut, Nathaniel Richards, right? That's all the same guy from a bunch of different timelines. Okay. We talked about specking on Immortus like 5 or 6 months ago with this whole time travel thing. Immortus comes into play here. There's a separate storyline. I don't want to really get into that because there's so many rabbit holes you can go down with this, because the storyline in Avengers, West Coast Avengers 61, 62 fits very well into what we're watching, but I don't want to go there just yet. The big point of this whole thing is that here's the connection. It's that the Nexus points are watched over by the timekeepers. Okay. And the timekeepers, we know, are basically confirmed for the Loki series. Those are the statues that we see in the trailer. It's something we talked, Jay, Guy, and I spoke about on Pressable Defects again back in October before the trailer dropped, that these were going to be essential characters for time travel. The timekeepers watch over the Nexus beings to make sure nobody messes with them. Because if the Nexus being falls, goes too hard, too good or too bad, the multiverse can collapse on itself. So the timekeepers aren't good, they aren't bad, they just keep shit in order. Okay. So I think this is the connection between Loki. So while this is not like a huge spec, I think it's just another reason why you see the timekeepers as if you're specking on books, if you want to spec on like a low dollar amount book, West Coast Avengers number 62 is the first full appearance of the timekeepers. Okay.
Yeah, but like here's my thing. It feels to me like the Nexus is just a nod to Wanda, not because what's really going on with time manipulation here? Nothing really, So why would they need to get involved?
Well, it's not just time; it's also the multiverse.
Okay, so multiverse could be.
They keep the multiverse intact by making sure the Nexus points are not messed with. Because if one falls, then the connection between all the multiverses falls. Okay. It's like it's like the weakest link, that kind of thing. Without one, they all fall. So I think and the Nexus of all realities is kind of I heard somebody online say that's Wanda's that's Agatha's basement, that basement was there for years and years, and we can get into that later, that was there for years and years. I don't know if I buy that one, but so that's kind of the breakdown on the Nexus. And I do think that Timekeepers book is a good one to grab because it's cheap, and I think whether they play a major role or just a minor role, they're definitely going to show up throughout what we see in Phase 4 and 5, I believe.
All right, real quick, $5 super chat. Mr. Matthew, did you guys notice the missing persons ad on the milk container? I did. It was fuzzy, though. It said glitch back and forth really fast, but it looked like the twins. I think it was just one kid on there.
I thought it was one, yeah.
But yeah, I did notice that. And then Jim Cholera with that $5 super chat. Thank you much, Jim. So Maddie's breakdown, there you go. So that Nexus, it almost seems like that Nexus commercial was the most important commercial yet. Through
I think so.
All these episodes.
It made it was something that we didn't know yet, whereas the other ones were kind of nods to the past, except for, I guess, the Yo Magic.
Yeah, that one was pretty relevant, I thought, too. They're getting more relevant one, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, after the commercial, we're back. And thank you for that breakdown, Matt.
Yeah.
Mr. Nexus.
Hold on, Gary, you should probably get Jim's comment because I think he meant to super chat this.
Jim, all right. Commercial number 1, light in face on toaster, which that red light, right?
I saw this,
equals
yeah.
The Mind Stone. Number 2, the watch, the time stone. 3, the soapbox, the tesseract. 4, fruit punch, the ether. 5, skeleton can't reach the yogurt is the soul stone, and the capsule, the pill. Yeah. Number 6, pill capsule.
I mean,
I saw this online.
It's kind of like when everybody was saying Thanos' name was an acronym for like Tesseract and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those things.
I could be. I don't know.
Could be, maybe not.
All right, so now we're back. We're in Agnes's house now with the twins. After the commercial, Wiccan. I think Wiccan is going to be nasty. I think
because he said, "I don't hear anything inside of you." Right? He can't read her mind.
Yeah, he can't read her.
It's not only that; it's quiet in the house. And earlier that episode, he complains about how noisy it is.
Right
in his house, and in Agatha's house, it's quiet. And not only is it quiet in her house, Jem, like you said, it's quiet inside Agnes.
And then look, Wesley's comic collection says the aspect ratio changes when Wanda goes into the basement, so it was outside of the hex.
Very good. I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, that wasn't in WandaVision. That wasn't part of the hex. She's somewhere else at that point.
That's real world.
Right.
Yeah.
So after that point with the twins and Agatha, you kind of, Agnes, you kind of don't see them again. From here, we go back to Monica. Now she's suited up. She's ready. She's in the tank. She's going to go right through this hex and get in there and save everybody. I mean, there's still 2 episodes left, but she's going to save everybody. It's not quite the way it went down. The tank hits the hex and barely starts to go through. and it's Agent Wu said it's just changing.
It's rewriting it.
It's rewriting the shield. I'm sorry, the sword agent says, their density's matching, and Wu says, no, that's not it. It's rewriting it.
Yeah.
And you slowly see the hex tearing into the tank. Monica bails out of the tank, takes a hard fall. Did anyone notice how rough that fall was?
Oh, God.
Yeah. I think I laughed. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah. I'm like, damn, she ain't getting up.
Do you think they did that because later we see how graceful she is with her superhero landing?
She sloppily rolled off the back of that truck. Like,
Yeah, seriously.
Hit every box on the way down. So
oh, God.
she's out of there. And this thing spits the tank out. Half of the tank is transformed into like a 1980s truck. It almost looked like.
Yeah.
90s
Sean
truck.
said it was a Dodge Caravan front or something.
Is that what it was? Whatever it was, it sent way the hell out. It thing's ejaculated across the whole sword.
Oh,
plethora.
Interesting word
Almost
choice.
takes people
that's
out.
a big word. That was weird, okay?
Yeah. After it hits, we see Monica. She degowns real quick. Did anyone else pick up? Oh, no, that's when she gets in. She runs in, runs through this hex, fights her way through, and the whole time as she's going through, you're hearing stuff, man. You're hearing Captain Marvel. You're hearing her mom. You're hearing all kinds of voices, and she's fighting through. She's fighting through. Finally, she busts through. She makes it through the hex. Eyes are blue, and we get a new, almost like her perspective, right? Can we take a look at this right here?
Yep.
Yeah.
Spectrum. Can we assume she's gone full spectrum at this point?
I still don't understand why people are saying Photon. In the comics right now, she's Spectrum. Why would they have her in the MCU as somebody else? Monica Rambeau in the MCU and Monica Rambeau in the comics as something else. And then that Vision, I think it just says, I'm like, when I look at that, and if I look at that picture and I see the word Spectrum next to it, I put those two together like a match. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
We got a $5 super chat. John Galendez. Am I the only one that noticed the J. Jonah Jameson appearance in Spider-Man Far From Home is a direct result of whatever happens in the end of WandaVision?
I mean,
don't know.
Could be. I mean,
so she's inside now, right? Can we say Spectrum? I'm just going to keep saying Monica, but
Spectrum.
She has powers now. It's safe to say, and we will touch on that a little later too. She runs in. She's full Spectrum. She is going to save Wanda, right? That's the goal here.
Yep.
But from this point, once she kind of like cleared her mind. You guys notice that? Like she's got the view, she's got the blue eyes, and then she almost like focused.
Right. All the kind of all the faces converge together.
Yeah,
everybody that she has powers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's there now. And then we're done with that. We're going back. And this is another part of the episode where I actually laughed out loud. We've gone back now, and we're with Darcy and Vision. And
with the road,
they're still driving the oldest vehicle in Westview, the biggest, bulkiest thing on the way back, and they hit a red light. And Darcy even says, "Man, I didn't even know there were this many lights over here." And once the red light stops, turns green, she even says, "Like, does it ever even rain in Westview?"
Yeah, that was
then
funny.
The construction workers come out.
You know what? That's a homage to, right?
What's that?
What?
The Truman Show.
Oh, see, I never watched that.
So the Truman Show, when he's pulling out, it's Jim Carrey, and they're obviously taping him. It's a show based on him.
Trying to leave. Yeah.
Everybody's watching him. He's trying to leave. He pulls out. There's no traffic. He pulls out, and all the cars pull out to stop him from going. It's the greatest
and people
scene ever.
compared this to Truman Show from episode 1.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So at this point, and Michael Benson, you're ahead of me here because I agree with you. They start doing that fourth wall. I think it was at this point or later where Vision actually says Wanda is impeding our progress to get home. And I don't think it's Wanda doing it.
I don't think so either.
No,
it's Agatha.
Yeah, because I don't think Wanda's really thinking about Vision right now.
No, she made that clear in the first 2 minutes of the episode.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's trying to focus on herself right now. She needs that staycation, right? The quarantine. Michael, Agatha preventing Vision from getting back. 100% agree that is not Wanda. It's 100% Agatha behind this. All right, now we're back to Monica. she is at Wanda's house, and this is from this point on. Now, there's only a few minutes left of this episode, but from this point on is when it really gets good.
Oh yeah,
I feel like Monica could have handled it better.
She just stormed in.
Yeah, he's just barging in. Hey,
get out of here!
What are you doing?
She's been through a lot. She's been through a lot, Jim. Come on, give her a break.
She should have came at her with a little bit more empathy and understanding. Try to get to the source.
How quick was the timing on this episode? My girl was eating a bowl of cereal the whole time.
Yeah,
like
it just blew by.
Bowl of cereal.
Yeah, like how long? That's soggy. That's some soggy ass cereal. By that time.
we watched it right when we woke up too. It was like, all right, we woke up. All right, let's hit this WandaVision.
Yeah.
So they have a little altercation, and I don't know if I wrote down any quotes, but basically they're going back and forth, and Wanda just grabs her. It's got the red, takes her out of the house. They're in the front yard, tries to slam her down or something, and she does that superhero landing.
Yeah.
Ooh, that
Wanda was
her.
surprised.
Maybe go toe to toe.
Wanda was surprised by that.
Wanda
yeah,
was surprised.
Yep.
But then at the same time, like this is, Wanda didn't get crazy. She started listening.
A little bit.
She started listening to her, and Agnes is looking out the window and sees what's going on. And I should have wrote it down, but there was like a point where it went from the camera went right from Wanda to Agnes, and there was a line that was said. I should have wrote it down. I felt like it was important the way it cut to her, like you're not doing this, or you don't need to do this, and then it cut over to her looking through the window. I thought that was important.
I think it was also important who the camera showed next.
Yeah,
2 people.
This is yeah,
ahead,
absolutely.
Yeah, so
Matt,
the camera went right to Dottie, who was taking notice, and the mailman who was taking notice. So we can talk about that later.
Somebody mentioned in the beginning of the chat that Ralph is the mailman.
Maybe. I mean, it's possible.
Something's up with the mailman for sure, though.
Yeah, the mailman's always
He's been there a couple times, right?
And he always knows what's up.
We got another super chat. Rep the Comics 1 $4.99. Thanks for the knowledge. I hope we get to see Monica Wanda fight. Also, when they were looking at Monica's blood, could have been the X gene.
And I kind of feel like we'll see Monica and Agatha fight, and then maybe Wanda jumps in against Agatha. I don't know that we're going to see that fight again after we already had this confrontation,
Right. We might not. So Wanda, and it looked like Agatha had to intervene because Monica was getting to Wanda. Like it was right there. The second Agatha intervenes, she scoops her away and brings her back to her house.
That's true. I guess she did start hitting her with the empathy, letting her know that she lost the most important thing to her as well, and she knows what she's going through, and that's when she kind of lets her guard down. But then, boom, Agatha swoops in.
Here's the line. You just reminded me. Monica says, "Don't be the villain," or whatever.
Right.
The camera flips to Wanda. Wanda says, "What if I already am?" Boom, the camera flips to Agnes.
Yeah.
In that order. And I was like, "Ooh, I bet you they're like telling you something."
That was good.
And then Agatha literally could have just turned around and brought her back into her own house, which was right behind her. But she took her and she turned her around and brought her to her house, obviously.
Yep, she brought her over to her house.
Yep. And this is the first time we ever seen inside Agatha's house.
First time we've seen inside. Yep. Now we go right. We followed them. They go right into the house now. They're in the house, and I was waiting for her to grasp the whole. Where the hell are the kids?
Right. Because I'm like, where are the kids?
Right away. I'm like, all right, where are the kids? Where are the kids? She's in there. She's looking around. She's like, where are the twins?
Well, she sees the sandwiches.
They're in the basement.
Sammy's.
Yeah. They're in the basement. Then the basement's looking creepy as hell. Doesn't look kid friendly.
Well, before she goes into the basement, and even before she asks about the twins, she's looking around the room, and what does she see?
I don't know, Guy. What do you call these things? I think Gary's got a picture.
Cicadas?
Is it a locust? Is it a cicada? I don't know. But
this
obviously,
is very important.
I don't know. People are saying, is that Mephisto? And you'd say, well, why the hell would it be a cicada? Well, Mephisto first appeared in comics as a fly. I don't know. At this point,
Ooh.
anything that moves is Mephisto.
Mephisto.
Right? It's Mephisto.
Yeah.
WandaVision fans.
Mephisto.
Fly. Mephisto.
But I thought that was interesting. There,
You know, a lot
it was
of
there
people
for
are,
a reason. Yeah.
Sounding off in the chat saying the same thing about Mephisto being a fly and this and that.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I mean, it kind of fits, you know.
I think this is the first time where we can actually say he's watching and he's there, because she made a point to look at it and the camera made a point to look into it.
Right. It wasn't in the background. It wasn't an Easter egg. It was part of the story. Yeah.
Right.
Here's my problem, though, right? So what's the big reveal next, right? Agatha all along. So how are you going to, in episode 7, say Agatha all along, and then in episode 8 or 9 be like, really? It was Mephisto all along? You know what I'm saying?
Maybe she's working for him.
I think,
puppet.
I think it's kind of like...
Let's get into that, because here comes the end.
Go ahead.
Right? Wanda asks about the twins, because there's a lot to dissect at this point.
Yeah.
Wanda asked about the twins, and does anyone else realize, like, Agnes wanted her to go into the basement?
Yeah.
She said, they're in the basement. She
was
wanted
ready
her
to
to
come
go down
clean
there.
or something for some reason, right?
Yeah. All right. So Wanda goes downstairs, can't find them, finds a creepy ass part of the basement. There's vines, and she's walking through, and this is where it gets even crazier. You see columns, you see bones, and you see one other thing, Matt. One other important, well, two things, but one thing.
Which one are we talking
really
about?
Important.
Are we talking about on the wall or?
No, not right on the wall.
Okay.
You want to do that first?
Yeah, let's do that first. Let's do that first.
All right. There is one point where you see this on the wall.
Looks very similar to what we've seen in the Loki trailer. The stained glass, what everybody believes to be a Mephisto. I mean, I don't know how that can't be interpreted as Mephisto. But this has that same style head with the horns. And, you know, I thought that was interesting. I caught that.
And before we go, Amazing Murfinator, $5. So Gary did your 15 long box collection in that basement.
That's good.
Hell yeah. It depends where it is.
Good.
Depends where it is. I would, Amazing Murfinator. I would. I've been to some bad places.
That was good.
So we see what could be the Darkhold.
Yep.
And did we not talk about this a couple weeks ago, and all hell broke loose and we caught a lot of fire and slack, but is it the Darkhold?
I'll let you guys go first on this one.
I'm going to say it is.
Okay.
But I could be wrong.
I saw a bunch of little things that I knew were Easter eggs, and I didn't know what the hell they were, and I was like, I'll figure it out when everyone else says what they were. A book and all this stuff, right? Like,
yep. Guy, what do you think? Was that the Darkhold?
I leave it to the experts. So, you know, I'll listen. I'll listen. So
all right. So I do.
All
I
right.
think it is, but Matt, we talked. It's really possible it's not.
Right. So the dark, you know, we'll do a quick like 10-second recap for the people that weren't in here. Darkhold is basically the sum of all dark magic, the chaos magic, which was written by Cthon. We talked about Cthon, Avengers 186 a few weeks back, and that is that the big bad, or maybe just like a bad, not the big bad, right? A bad in this. And that book would signify that, yes, that he is part of it in some way, shape, or form. He's extremely important, and the Darkhold is extremely important to all magic in Marvel. Like it shows up in like 200 comics in the history of Marvel. But maybe it's not, right? You know, we said that people know that it was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. already as the Darkhold. It was in the Runaways already as the Darkhold. Was Kevin Feige want to bring in like a leftover, something that was used already by kind of these two, you know, offshoots of the MCU? They weren't really MCU. Would he want to bring that in on like his first, you know, trip down the TV series lane? I would think he wouldn't want to, but I don't know. Maybe they call it something different because it does have a lot of other names, right? They call it the Book of Cthon, the Book of Sins. There's like 100 of them. I mean, so maybe they retcon a little bit and they call it something different. That's possible. Basically, there's a bunch of other dark magic books in Marvel, and all of them are basically just pages torn from the Darkhold. So maybe they call it something else, but the origin of it is from the Darkhold. They just don't want to use that name. So I'd be surprised if it wasn't the Darkhold or one of its aliases, but It's a variant. There you go. That's funny.
Now,
So
I have a question.
It's a 1 in 10.
It's a 1 in 10. What do you got, guy?
Go ahead, guy.
I have a question. So this is obviously talking about the Darkhold, and I was watching a lot of stuff today too. And kudos to whoever said this, because I watched too many things to even realize where it came from. But someone had mentioned in Doctor Strange, when they're in the basement with all the books, right? And they're going through it. It's evident there's a missing book. Okay. From where the books are. If you go back and look at it, there's a missing book from over there. Okay. And not to mention the shape that holds all the books in this Doctor Strange movie, and where that library is, it's a hexagon like shape holding the books. So if this is where this all connects to, this is bonkers, because, and I wouldn't doubt it. So if you go look in the Doctor Strange movie, one of the books in the library is missing from there when he's down there talking to, what's his name? What's the Asian guy's name?
His name.
Oh, is it Wong?
Wong.
Is it Wong?
Yep.
When he's talking to him, there's a book missing from there. Not the ones that he's talking about, the one that was stolen, whatever. The book in the lineup in the background, there's one missing, and the shape of the missing hole is an hexagon shape. So it's pretty crazy.
All right, so everyone go do your homework. We've given you homework now twice in our WandaVision episodes. Go check that out. And that's a good movie anyway. And the second one will be coming out soon.
There's one other book that it could be, but I don't want to go down that road yet. I want to do a little bit more research on it. I don't think we're going to get the reveal next week, so I think we can talk about it next week.
Matt's like, but wait, there's more.
I'm always thinking, like, because you want to say, well, what if it's not? Then what can it be? So
it's the book from the never-ending story.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways they can go with this shit. I mean, it's
so okay. We see what may or may not be the Darkhold. Wanda's looking around, and then here comes Agnes with Senor Scratchy, or whatever the hell the bunny's name is, and basically saying, you're not the only witch in town. She closes the door, and she has like a purple aura to her, while Wanda has the red aura. And then and did you guys notice this? She kind of, I don't know if she blasts Wanda with the purple, but you see the purple on her and then her eyes. So I don't know if she's possessing her or she's showing her what we're about to see. And what we see is just like an opening segment to it was Agatha all along. Her through the eras, through the episodes, kind of behind the scenes, pulling the strings, doing this, that, and the other thing. And
she killed Sparky.
The Munsters intro, the best intro yet.
She planted Pietro.
So, okay, I want to talk about this.
Talk about it.
The Pietro thing.
Mm-hmm.
She was definitely manipulating him at the door, pushing him to do it or whatever.
I agree. But we have to talk to Dan Delatorre, the $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much, Dan. Appreciate that so much. So here's what I'm saying, and I could totally be wrong, but is it possible that Agnes and or Cathan, or maybe it was Agnes at first, pulled Pietro from another multiverse because the Pietro here
is
dead?
Possible.
She brought Pietro here to mess with Wanda. And now is it Cathan just kind of running the show for him, as him? Because we have to go to our first ever mid-credit scene. And we know right now that Agnes is with Wanda there in the basement. Monica, in this quick mid-credit scene, is going into the basement of Wanda's house, and in the basement of Wanda's house you also have the purple and the roots, it looks like, to trees.
So is that what that was, though? That was Wanda's house, not Agatha's house?
No, that was Agatha.
100%.
Wanda's?
Wasn't it 2802?
I think that was Agatha's house. Yeah.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, so Monica's there going to Agatha's house looking for Wanda. That's
what I said. So she's going into the house, and then boom, Pietro's there.
2804.
Agatha's little
okay,
boy.
So, and the other one is 06, right?
I don't know.
Okay.
Either way,
even if
Agatha's got her do boy patrolling the perimeter there. You know what I'm saying?
So is he being possessed right now, or
He
is
had purple in
Cthon-
his eyes, didn't he?
No, she did.
No, Monica or Pietro?
Monica had purple, unless I missaw it.
No. Monica had the blue.
Not when she turned around.
At the end, she had purple. She
Yeah,
did.
but very end,
Pietro didn't have purple?
No.
It didn't seem like it.
So I'm wondering if Cthon is there as well. He's taken over Quicksilver while, and this is me reaching, but because we talked to Cthon in the Darkhold and we finally got the Darkhold, is it possible that you have Cthon, you have the witches, they're working for Mephisto, almost like, and Matt, you said this, I think earlier, almost like a Loki working for Thanos.
Right.
Is that what's happening here?
Right.
See, I think so. I didn't know, was Pietro there as a friend or a foe? You don't know. They left it
Well, if
totally
she got the purple
open-ended.
eyes at the end, then it seems like it's foe.
Well, what if she only got that because Agatha was putting off some type of, vibe that when she opened the doors, the roots were purple. Maybe it kind of started putting her in that trance until she kind of got snapped.
Yeah, because
out of it by
Quicksilver
Pietro.
doesn't have the power to do that unless he's not really Quicksilver.
Right.
And Quicksilver has the speed, so we saw him do his thing.
I think she can only see the color in the vines because she's Spectrum.
Maybe. It could be, yeah. It could be interpreted.
You know what I'm saying? Like
ways.
she saw it, she could see it because she could see that.
Maybe. I'm reading the chat now. People are. Here you go.
There's so many different ways.
Quicksilver is possessed by Mephisto, who has not fully revealed himself as the puppet master yet, in his opinion.
Maybe.
Does Mephisto possess people though?
I don't know.
So.
Well, how many times did they drop
people?
Nightmare? I said that last.
Nightmare's
week.
another one.
And Nightmare seems to be more with the purple thing, no?
Well, Nightmare was rumored for Doctor
his
Strange.
costume is green, but it seems like his power set would.
Purple magic usually, right, in comics is dark magic, right? That's usually the color of dark magic. So I don't know, man. It's
Monica's saying this guy,
convoluted.
Ryan Atkins, Monica did not have purple eyes.
It looked purple to me.
Everybody else said she did, though.
I think she did.
I'll tell you.
At the end of it, when she said, "I'm Agatha," when she said, "I'm Agatha," and then her eyes lit up, and then Wanda's eyes lit up, and then she showed her the intro.
Yeah. I don't know. Like in the mid episode, her eyes were bright blue. So if you want to say her eyes were blue at the end, they weren't bright blue. They were like
I think they were purple.
Yeah. They were bluish purple. They weren't definitely not the same color as they were.
Are you watching it, Gary?
I'm putting it on right now. I'm going to take a picture and show it.
Man, that's why I said this episode confused me more than any of them because it opened up so many possibilities for this thing to go down that I told Gary, I'm like, I don't even want to theorize because I really don't know which way to go at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I can see a Mephisto tease similar to Thanos at the end of Avengers, right? Like just a quick little Agatha's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, it didn't work," and he's pissed or something, whatever.
Well, they're gonna
$10 super chat. Is Dottie the next big reveal? She could be. Lots of speculation. She's Arcana, and we talked about at like her first episode 2. We said Arcana, and I think we said by episode 4 it was confirmed when we learned her husband's name and we saw them together. A lot of speculation. She's Arcana. She's the only one other than Agnes not to appear on Wu's wall of Who's Who in Westview.
The mailman
also is not on Wu's wall.
Well,
Jim, good job. I agree with him on all fronts.
Here's a question for you guys. So we know that Agatha probably has other people helping her, right? So we said Dottie and the mailman. Are they on Agatha's side? Right? Are they like other witches, like witches of the Covenant?
I would say yes.
Or are they from something else that they're trying to stop Agatha? Like TVA, maybe? Right? Time variance.
So here's the thing, and Gary highlights CLG because he said he just watched Purple Eyes. So
Purple Eyes, you see it.
Yeah.
Boom, I'm gonna take a picture.
so just to talk about the mailman for a second. The mailman walks away, like in the beginning when the dog is lost, and he's walking from Agatha's house as the other guys walk past, and he's like, "Don't worry, your mom will figure it out," blah blah blah, and then walks away, right? And then obviously we find out later that Agatha, I killed Sparky, right? We find that out. So there you go.
Purple or is
those
it
are purple? Yeah, those are purple. I mean, listen, if they're blue, they're not the blue that we saw earlier.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm
and then
colorblind.
Quicksilver doesn't have the purple eyes.
Right. But he never really did, right? Well, that kind of would have gave it away. So there's no way he could have.
Yeah. So and then the mailman always shows up. So this is exactly what I was going to say next, Michael. Yeah. The mailman had a rabbit on his hat, like a running rabbit, like a rabbit that was like stretched out, like running, right?
Okay.
And then his shirt also said Presto on it.
I saw that. Yeah. I didn't put that together though.
So and then notice
Mephisto.
Mephisto. Notice that he
the dog is Mephisto.
Notice that he stops like as she threw Monica in the air.
Yeah,
and then Monica did her thing. Like he stopped and is watching it. Just as what's her name? Dottie did the same thing. She had her head in the flowers. And then all of a sudden she looked up and looked over as it was happening too. So they purposely stopped these two people as that happened. So they're not,
that's what we talked about before. Yeah.
I don't think Agnes is alone. And I do think there is a puppet man. I think it's still Mephisto, man.
I think it's whether we see him or not. I like Jem's theory from last week. I watched you guys that maybe it is, but you ain't going to see him.
I'm
kind of digging that.
What if you see I still say end credit scene, you see a hand
right.
or
Red
you hear
hand
him
or
talk,
something.
or they say Master Mephisto or something, you know?
What if the mailman just takes off his hat and all of a sudden, boom.
Like, ta-da!
Unzips, takes off his hat, and he's like, hey, mother, you know.
So here's the thing for Mephisto, they got a lot to talk. They had a lot to cover in the next two episodes then, because Mephisto's whole purpose for doing this would have to be to get the twins from Wanda, right?
The twins, right.
Yeah.
And we don't know where they were at the end of last episode.
Ooh.
Can I tell you what I think is going to happen on the next episode?
Sure.
I think you're going to get at least half of it is going to be a flashback.
Right. That's
to
what else does
how this all started.
The Agatha as the witch stuff and all that.
And I think you're going to have Agatha stepping in to try to help Wanda, but Wanda doesn't know that she's a witch. Wanda's obviously more powerful than Agatha, but Agatha is obviously more savvy. She's more experienced. She knows how to use magic. She knows how to use these things. So she's manipulating. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to share my screen, Gary, because I didn't send this to you. There's an early trailer, okay? And I haven't seen it in a while, but there's a shot of, I'm going to do it right now. Hold up. You just gotta drop it in there. There's a shot of what looks like Wanda trying to reconfigure or bring back the Soul Stone, the Mind Stone. I'm sorry. Obviously, she's doing that because she wants to bring Vision back. So she thinks if she can recreate the Mind Stone, she could bring Vision back. Obviously, here it looks like it's kind of blowing her back, like she fails. So, are the Infinity Stones in play in all of this? Is somebody doing this so that they can have Wanda try to recreate the Infinity Stones? Because I don't think those are gone. Those are too big a part of Marvel history for them to just forget and never talk about it again.
I mean,
could that be Vision just like blowing up,
or showing how she resurrected him? You know,
right? You can't really see it, but I've seen the trailer, and it's the Mind Stone. There's no doubt about it. It's the Mind Stone. So,
well, Vision,
you're gonna find that out this episode.
In his head,
right? That's what I'm saying.
I think
and he had the Mind Stone when he walked out of the hex.
So,
right.
whether that's an artificial one that she created, putting some of her powers into it, or whatever.
Right. So I think the Infinity Stones aren't gone yet. I think you get the whole reveal that Agatha needs Wanda to create this hex. And maybe it's for the multiverse. Maybe it is what it is. Like I said earlier, was Agatha's house and basement there in Westview long before she did this? It looks old, right? And it has nothing to do with Westview. That has nothing to do with Wanda's reality. So how does that play in?
CLG
Mechanical Shadows has some scoops. He's saying Magneto is one of the big reveals, but not the Luke Skywalker ending reveal.
Yeah, so who's the Luke Skywalker ending?
We want to know.
It better not be Doctor Strange, because that ain't no Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, I'll be pissed at that, man.
Gary, did you see CLG's comment? Because I saw this today too, and someone talked about it. Every time Wanda says previously on WandaVision, her voice gets softer every single time, or weaker. Let's use that as a word. Her voice gets weak. Like the second episode, She goes, previously on WandaVision.
Yeah, I thought it was getting more and more serious.
It gets weaker, or I mean, it could get weaker or serious, whatever. Either way, it sounds like she's getting weaker or serious, like, or more, like more baddie, let's say, more evil.
I don't know,
but there is a very big difference as to how every time she says it. Go listen to it. Every time she says it differently.
I'm just reading. There's a lot of
good comments. Yeah,
there's a lot going on in the chat right now.
Who is a Luke Skywalker
someone said,
ending?
So someone said my thing today that I read, which was bonkers, and I sent it to Matt. And Matt, I literally said, if this happens, I'm gonna like fall off the chair. Crazy. Someone posted today that Al Pacino is gonna be Mephisto. And I go, what?
And they're gonna connect it to Devil's Advocate.
There you go, Jim.
So if someone says that, like, I mean, if something like that happens, that's crazy, because obviously we still talked about how Bettany wanted to work with the actor that he's working with, and none of the actors that we know of right now are the actors that he wanted to work with and like he was striving for, like, and was so excited to work with them. So
it's got to be
pull it off. He seems a little bit short, but they can make it work with the movie magic,
It's got to be.
Listen, it's Pacino, bro.
The Skywalker. Yeah, maybe that is the
that's my man.
Moment.
That's my man. He could look like an old devil, right? I mean, come on. Who played a better devil?
You can make him look like the devil without making him look like the devil, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you though, what we talked about 2 weeks ago with the Darkhold comic, I think that's too much of a coincidence not to be something here where they totally put that on hold because WandaVision got delayed.
Oh, you're talking about the physical comic with that cover, which I thought the cover was great. I don't think I have it on here anymore.
That just seems like too much of a coincidence for it not to be something. And if it is the Darkhold, then it gives us a much clearer picture of where it's going.
Random.
I'm not gonna argue with that one.
Elizabeth Hurley could still make a great devil.
Yeah, I'll tell you
that.
Made
a bad devil, man.
I'll tell you what, man. Bad devil. That's a big enough actor for an MCU role with a big bad villain. That would work.
That fits what you're saying, Jem, right? Who's the Luke Skywalker? That would fit. The only other one could be like what's the guy's name from the original Magneto?
The only thing is that the Luke Skywalker ending seems to be somebody that we already know who's back, who's a big deal, and we're assuming it's a multiverse thing and not just like the real Magneto back.
That's what I was saying. Magneto, the what's his name? The
like Magneto would be big. Reed Richards, John Krasinski would be big.
I guess because that's kind of coming back, right? Reed Richards is a character that was played, just not by not by the actor we're going to find out.
Like Michael Fassbender would be like, I think that would be the most accurate.
I'd rather him. My man Lawrence Skay with that $5 super chat, rooting for Nick Cage as the Luke Skywalker level.
Let him play Ghost Rider.
Whatever character he wants.
That's true.
I want him up as that Superman he was supposed to play.
Oh my god.
Bring him back as Ghost Rider.
There you go.
Just bring all the multiverses. DC can't get out of their own way. You might as well bring them over. Andre Gandalf, he's coming. That is Magneto. Gandalf.
What's his name? Guy, what's the actor's name?
Ian McKellen?
I think that's who it is.
He's old now, man.
He's not gonna.
Old when he was Magneto.
Yeah, he was old when he was Magneto.
First of all, Captain Picard, what's his face? He was old in Star Trek.
Yeah. He needed the wheelchair to play Professor X. That wasn't part of the character.
Fucking guy.
That was really him
he
in a
needed
chair.
the wheelchair.
Ian McKellen funny.
Oh god, this was good. It just it honestly gave me a headache because I was like, what if it's this? What if it's this? I'm just like, oh my god.
Well, I gotta say, we gotta give this episode a score, and this was my favorite episode so far. And we were talking before. This not only answered questions, I think it also brought more. So, Jem, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you got tonight's episode?
This is going to be the first one I'm giving a 10. I think the last couple were 9s for me, and then so to give it a 10. I mean, what more could you ask for? It's answering questions. It's leaving other possibilities.
You got nowhere to go, Jem.
Yeah, Jem, you got nowhere to go after that.
You got nowhere to go. Wait, hold on. You do because maybe the next one will be a Jem. Maybe the next one will be a Jem Mint 10.
There you go.
Exactly. It'll be a Gem Mint white pager.
There you go.
Maddie, what do you got this one?
Pedigree.
Before you answer, Jay actually gave this an 8.5. He's gone up.
Okay. What did I give it? 8.5 last week?
You were 8.5 last week.
Yeah. I want to stay the same. Like, I wish there was something in between. I'll go 9 just because I feel like since we got some answers and it was funny, I'll give it a 9.
Guy?
Well, what did I give last week?
I don't know what you gave.
What did I give the week before?
I think you were an 8.
I was an 8 something, 8.5.
8 or 8.5.
I would give this a 9 regardless. So
I'm
just because of the monsters and Agatha's a badass. So
they played. Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Somebody said that Hayward is Ultron. People
That's
want
interesting.
Ultron back. Maybe
believe that.
Ultron comes back and saves Wanda.
I mean,
I got
Ultron is one of the Avengers' biggest villains in the comics. It's like to just do a one and done. They made his plan too big and too final in that movie. I think, man.
I agree,
Ultron?
Jim.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, not only like what's his name was the voice of Ultron, Kevin Spade or
No.
no,
That other weird guy,
Spader.
James Spader,
Robert California.
Robert California.
Nice.
Which I gotta say is that season of The Office doesn't get enough credit because I
No.
thought it was
Yeah.
really good.
What was his
wasn't a
name?
big
What was
fan
his
of that.
name at
Michael-
the end? What was his
Michael
name at the
Scott
end?
Gardner.
Oh
When he left.
God!
When he left, Garrett.
switched it.
When he switched it and he met what's his name and he said a different name.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
I laughed so hard at that part.
I
That's-
died.
I was rolling. He changed, and even Andy was like,
He goes, what?
That's great.
"Dude, when he says I'm the effing Lizard King, I was
awesome.
rolling at that point." But anyway, I agree. I think they should bring Ultron back in some capacity.
I don't think he's gone. Obviously, we
Well,
talked
I
about
like
how he can't be gone.
Keys and Slab says Ultron always comes back.
Yeah,
You
How many
never really
times?
see him, I don't want to say die, but you never really see him get destroyed technically, right?
Oh, I
That
don't
was
believe
also-
He's data. He's still living. I mean, he's part of all of them, right? So
Scott, the Lizard King. Does anyone know the other name he says? 'Cause
Bob
it's something
Kazamakis.
Crazy. What was it?
Bob Kazamakis. Yeah.
And definitely an underappreciated season of The Office.
Such
It was
a
without
great-
Steve
yeah.
Carell, but James Spader / Ultron. I thought he did a good job as Robert California. So for episode 7, I gave this a 9.5. I really enjoyed this episode. I loved how they answered questions. I loved how we still have a lot more. And
Wait,
we still have
what'd
at
you give
least
it?
2 episodes left. Right? There's still rumors. There's 3. Is there 2? Is there 3? Are there 1-hour episodes?
Yeah, what'd you
No,
give
the
it?
1 hour thing got debunked.
9.5.
What is a 9.5? Wizard World?
9.5.
The
Oh,
Wizard
yeah.
first.
I thought we were doing CGC scale.
No, hell no. I'm not doing CGC. I'm doing regular,
Wizard
like
World.
a 5-star, 10-star.
I mean, then I would have went like 8.8 if we're doing that. No, I'm sticking to my
No, just
CGC
half
scale.
grades.
I'm sticking to my CGC scale.
First of all, you guys started incorporating that shit like episode 5 or 4. Like now we're doing
we were 1
0.5.
through 10. I thought we were just 1 through 10.
That's what I thought.
It wasn't a 0.5.
What do you mean? The
through
first
10.
episode, I gave it a purple label. I mean,
Yeah, he
Yeah, I
did.
didn't even write that down. I didn't even count that.
Everybody's got their own grading scale on this.
that's
show.
right.
I give it 6 hearts and a star.
I'm giving it PSA grades, 9.5 mint.
I gave it 3 bunny rabbits and a cicada.
Jay
there you go,
gave
guys.
it 3
There's our-
cups of JMO.
There's our grades on this one. Look at Sequential Geek. He's thinking Wong is a scroll. I can't wait for this to start happening because I
Hold
think
on.
there's
Who's a
crazy
Skrull?
scrolls out
Yeah.
there.
Is there truth to Michael Benston said? No, not that. Oh no, the next one. No, Mechanical Shadows. No episode
No.
next week.
I looked that up right before we got on, and it literally says February 26th. I mean, that wouldn't be like a surprise. Like, surprise, guys, there's no episode this week. Like, they would tell you, like, now, like, no, it doesn't air until, right? I mean,
So it airs the day that we're doing the auction.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's
Gonna have
right.
to get
Next
up early
week.
and watch it.
Got up early.
I usually do.
Yeah,
Friday.
There you go.
Friday again next week. We might as well go around the horn. Jem, what do you got this week coming up other than the auction next Friday?
I mean, it's all about the auction right now, man. Otherwise, actually, today's the first day in like 2 years that I didn't drop a video.
Ooh.
It's crazy, man. I don't, the weather thing really messed up a lot of incoming stuff that I typically get, and the comics were delayed and everything. So it was just kind of a weird week.
So we're looking forward to Friday.
Hell yeah.
There you go.
Matt, Guy, Pressable Defects, what do you guys have coming on next week?
Yeah, we have, obviously, every Tuesday we do our CBSI New Comic Book Day show. And then Thursday, this is one you're going to want to check it. Definitely stay tuned for some books to buy before Falcon and Winter Soldier. We got a couple speculation books. Some maybe you've heard already, but I know there's going to be a few that you haven't. So that's what we got coming up that we're excited. And then obviously our 2,500 giveaway is getting close, probably within the next 3 weeks.
And I'm glad you brought up Falcon Winter Soldier because we are going to cover that too. We're not going to stop this with WandaVision. We're just going to change the location. So stay tuned for that too, because we are going to keep going. Guy, anything to add?
I'll leave it at this because obviously I'm a big Pacino fan. I'll leave it at this. Look, but don't touch. Touch, but don't taste. Taste, but don't swallow. Ah! That's it.
Thank you.
I love
You're welcome.
I don't know what I'm dropping Monday. Probably, I don't know what video, but Tuesday I will be live with Jay coming back on the channel, and we're going to be talking with the creators of Reanimator. That's going to be Tuesday night. I forgot what time we were working on. Probably either 8 or 9 o'clock Tuesday night, and then I don't know what I'm dropping Thursday, but probably between Tuesday and Friday are the two most important things you want to know from my channel. Again, Tuesday I'll be on live with the creators of Reanimator, and Friday night is our auction. The Butcher will be here as well as Gem. And I'll tell you, we are going to, between the three of us, there's going to be a wide variety of stuff. I know Gem's going to have statues as well as miniseries, full runs, a lot of modern stuff. I know Jay's going to have a lot of Star Wars.
Oh, yeah,
heavy
he does.
Star Wars.
I saw it. There's a lot.
Heavy Star Wars as well as lots. And I'll be coming, I'm coming with the keys and the slabs. I have an entire short box of ASMs to auction off.
Oh, boy.
So literally I'm going to tape up the box, put a label on top, and mail it.
Oh, and hey, I'm not accepting PayPal, so everybody get their Venmo set up, get your Cash App together, get your Zelle together. Because worst case scenario, I'm going to have y'all send that shit to Gary for me or something.
Oh, well, there you go. No PayPal for Gem. We'll go over all of that Friday.
Yeah.
And that's it for everybody else, guys. Thank you so much. And we'll see you. Not only will we see you next Friday, Gem, are you ready for the quick turnaround? Because I've done this before. We're going Friday night for the auction into Saturday night WandaVision.
Hey.
I couldn't do it last time. I couldn't do it.
Gary did it after packaging up every single lot and then going live.
Saturdays after an auction around my house are not good. Not
Gary's
good for
Gary's a champ. That's why.
It's tough.
I got a few years on Gary, so that's why.
So that's it, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week for WandaVision, but more importantly, again, Tuesday night and Friday night live. Don't forget to sub up to Gem and Pressable Defects. Have a great night.